What is going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. Today we've got a couple updates on some recent stories that we discussed in the world of tech and PC gaming, and also an official announcement for the release date of Bethesda's Starfield. But first up, we're going to be starting off with an update on Wolong, because it seems like we didn't have to wait so long to get an update on the mouse controls for that game. Did they fix it? Nope. Not even a little bit, really? Not even really a little bit? We'll get into that. Also, a hotfix driver for NVIDIA that was released yesterday for 531.18 that fixed some of the high CPU usage issues that we were seeing. So let's get into it. But first, today's video is brought to you by Keysfan.com and their software super deal, where you can get some of the best prices out there on Microsoft software. Especially with my coupon code, you can get half off of Windows keys, as well as 62% off on Microsoft Office products like Windows 10 Pro, Windows 11 Pro, and Office 2019 Professional Plus, and Office 2021 Professional Plus. And they've also got a bundle with Windows 10 Pro and Office 2019 in the same package. To save money on Windows 10 Pro, just go ahead and add the key to your cart, which starts off at $15.17. But once you get into your cart, you can go ahead and apply my discount code at checkout, YTB50, and that will give you a shocking 50% off, bringing the price down to just over $7 at $7.58. And when you proceed to checkout, you can pay with either a credit card or PayPal, whichever one happens to fit your needs. And this also applies to Microsoft Office products, but again, you're going to get 62% off on Office products with the code YTB62 at checkout. Applying that to the $67.40 price, Office 2019 brings the price down to a stunning $25.61. So I don't know what you're waiting for. If you need your software keys, head over to keysfan.com right now and be sure to use those coupon codes at checkout. YTB50 on Windows products for half off, and YTB62 for 62% off on Microsoft Office products. So first up, Wolong Fallen Dynasty. I covered this in my most recent port report, where the game was an absolute train wreck on launch, from having some very basic customization options, usually reserved for that of the console and not for the PC, and the advanced graphics options and things like that. Complete lack of proper mouse and keyboard support. Complete lack of recognizing mouse and keyboard as being the main source of input on the platform where the mouse and keyboard is the main source of input. So all of those issues aside, it also didn't have raw mouse input or some type of ridiculous mouse acceleration. Thankfully, we've got a new version out for the PC today, version 1.03 for the Microsoft Store as well as on Steam. And we've got some update patch notes down here where they do mention that they improve the camera controls when using a mouse. More on that in just a moment. They also said to have fixed the crash-prone situation that occurred in certain environments, fixed white flickers that occurred in certain environments, which I did experience as well, fixed a bug that caused some resolutions to not be selectable in certain environments, so hopefully that will be resolved for some people. Whether that also extends to refresh rate could also be maybe fixed. Fixed a problem in which the wrong graphics card was selected to run the game in certain environments, and fixed a bug that caused a crash when running the game with a certain screen resolution setting and then applying a specific filter in photograph mode and exiting. So that one's fairly niche, but the rest of them all sound like quality of life stuff and basic features that should have been in the game at launch. Most notably, the camera controls with a mouse that, like I said, had some sort of mouse acceleration or dead zone when, trying to use a mouse and keyboard, and they say that they've improved the camera controls. Well, I went ahead and got the update, and I ensured that I was on the newest version of the game, 1.03, which seems to have been updated on the Microsoft Store version of the game. It says version 1.03, so I booted up into the game. Mouse and keyboard, as the patch notes suggests, it feels improved, but only in the smallest amount humanly possible to have introduced an improvement. Like, yes, I can move the camera now somewhat, but there is still a massive dead zone or some type of negative mouse acceleration being applied to the mouse when playing on Wolong Fallen Dynasty using mouse and keyboard, and the game would still, right now, after this 1.03 patch, absolutely require you to use a controller if you need to play this game. So I can still wholeheartedly not recommend anyone waste a single kilobit of bandwidth on Wolong Fallen Dynasty, even if you have the Windows Store version for free through the Game Pass. It's just simply not worth it if you're going to play with, if you need to play with mouse and keyboard. The game still requires a controller, so I don't know what they're talking about with their improvements. If this is their effort for improving the mouse and keyboard support, then they need to try again. Go back to the drawing board and try again, folks. Next up, an NVIDIA GeForce Hotfix driver numbered 531.26, which most people are probably going to want to grab that haven't already rolled back on the 531.18 driver, which I discussed yesterday, which had an issue, specifically the higher CPU usage from NVIDIA Container after closing out of a game, which I experienced. It would hover around 9.5 to 10 to even 11% CPU usage when at the desktop after closing out of a game. Thankfully, you could forcibly close this in the task manager or reboot your PC and it would go away, but for most people, it would eventually come back anytime you played a game and closed out of it. So that could create some performance issues and even some hardware degradation, as people have reported that their fans would continually, continue to go faster than really necessary for keeping the CPU cool and the desktop environment. So thankfully, NVIDIA got a hotfix for this driver relatively quickly with 531.26. So if you wanted that latest driver for whatever reason to get the optimizations for Atomic Heart and using DLSS 3 frame generation or something, then you should go and grab this hotfix, or just stay on the previous driver version until there's a new WHQL version that has these fixes applied within it as well, which should probably be fine for most people out there that don't really need to get the latest driver right now. Last up, before we get out of here, Bethesda has finally given us an official launch date for Starfield. There have been a lot of rumors circulating, people kind of guessing when this game would come out. Would it come out in June? Is it going to come out in the fall? Is it not going to come out until next year completely? That was seemed to be the most common theme among a lot of the pessimists of the group that thought it would not come out until 2024. And as a pessimist of the group, I am not one that's super duper excited for this game because I have a long memory, and I remember Fallout 76, and I also remember Fallout 4, which was a good game, by the way. Fallout 4 was a good game, don't get me wrong, but it did not launch with a ton of polish. It had so many bugs at launch. It's almost become a meme at this point, the Bethesda polish thing, that basically modders are going to have to finish their work, but thankfully with their games, usually that is done fairly reasonably quickly and quite well, honestly. So I can't really fault them too much, because at the end of the day, their system tends to work, except Fallout 76. That game was a train wreck on launch, and it's still a piece of shit to this day. Wouldn't touch it with a fucking barge pole. But Starfield, looking forward to New Horizons. That has gotten confirmed to be coming out on September 6th. 2023. So we are going to be getting it in the fall of this year if we don't see any further delays. I almost feel like September 6th sort of is a safe landing point for them. It kind of puts them at the beginning of the holiday rush for games, but also gives them a little bit of extra time if they do need to delay it, which I'm going to go ahead and predict. I'm going to go ahead and predict we're not going to see this game until late October or maybe mid-November, because I think they're going to need some extra time maybe polishing this game. And I feel like giving them that September 6th date kind of gives them that extra time. If they need to extend it, then they can, which will sort of curry favor with the fans, because it's, them spending extra time polishing the game and, all that kind of stuff. People want a better game at launch, ideally. And also allows them to still release it at some point this year before getting out of the 2023 holiday rush. So I feel like they're kind of giving themselves a good point there to where, hey, if they can hit that date, great. They've got a lot of time to work on it afterwards, and community mods can maybe polish up the game, or if they need to add some delayed time onto it, they've still got a few months to sort of play with there, or get themselves out ahead of the holiday rush, where most games start to usually ship by mid to late September, and October is where we start to get the real heavy hitters, the new Call of Duties. I'm assuming an Assassin's Creed probably at some point later this year too. So there you go, guys. Starfield, September 6th. Are you looking forward to it? I hope it's good. I want it to be good. I just have a lot of reservations. I like to put up my guard when it comes to really any AAA title coming out nowadays. I think Cyberpunk 2077 was the last one for me where I was just like, you know what? I'm done getting hyped up for games. And even if I do get myself hyped up for a game, if it comes out and it's a complete blunder, I can now just kind of like brush it off and forget about it. And I say this mentioning Cyberpunk when I just recently finally started a brand new playthrough of Cyberpunk to really play through the game, and I've been enjoying it immensely. I mean, it's not as good as the Witcher games. It's fine. It's it's good. It looks great. And I can enjoy it for that, because just like myself and this incredible fade, you can enjoy it just for the visuals, right? Am I right, folks, or am I right? But I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Hope you guys all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you tomorrow with another video. Peace. It's almost too cold to snap my fingers. My fingers are freezing. I got frio fingers. Frio. Mucho frio. I'm going to go now. Peace.